Let's begin with the foundations. Welcome to another lecture. Today we examine the improbable arc and very real craft of a Cape Verdean goalkeeper known worldwide by a single word, Vozinha. I am Professor Alexei, your professor today. Our aim is clear. Define the role, trace the record, and ask why this particular career mattered far beyond the penalty area.
So hi, I'm Priyanka, your student co-host today. I think the story we have is kind of perfect for understanding how one person can change how a small country is seen on a very big stage.
To frame our discussion, Vozinha is the professional identity of Josimar José Évora Dias, born June 1986 in Mindelo on São Vicente, Cape Verde. He is a goalkeeper, in simpler terms, the one player who may use his hands inside the penalty area to prevent goals. When his team concedes 0, we say he has kept a clean sheet, and when he plays for his country, an appearance is called a cap. These three notions, the goalkeeper's remit, the clean sheet, and the cap, will carry us through the narrative.
Building on that, the technical side is, I guess, more than just diving around. It's angles, timing, communication, and staying calm when the stadium is not calm at all.
Precisely. Technically, modern goalkeeping is a geometry problem under time pressure. We observe positional discipline to narrow shooting angles, command of the box to intercept crosses, distribution to launch or diffuse transitions, and decision thresholds under uncertainty, most severely tested by penalties. In tournaments, the goalkeeper is a leverage point. A single high-quality stop can invert expected outcomes, because knockout football compresses variance. It's crucial to understand how that leverage shaped Cape Verde's story. Moving forward, why is this case consequential? Cape Verde is a small island nation with a global diaspora and limited club visibility in the so-called major leagues. Yet through consistent national team service since 2012 and a historic 2026 World Cup run, Vozinha became a vector for international recognition. Clean sheets against Spain and Saudi Arabia, and a lauded display versus Argentina, created a moment when tactics met narrative. Lusophone media ecosystems amplified it. Brazilian and Portuguese broadcasters spotlighted him, and Instagram followers surged by more than 17 million within days. Visibility is not merely sentiment. It influences sponsorships, youth aspiration, and federation leverage for friendlies and development partnerships.
It makes me wonder how often a single match can shift a country's football identity from underdog to, someone you have to prepare for properly.
Let's start with the history. Born in Mindelo, raised by grandparents who also gave him the nickname that became his brand, he began locally with Batuque and then Mindelense. In 2012, he moved to Angola's Progresso do Sambizanga, and in that same period he debuted for Cape Verde in a high-stakes Africa Cup of Nations playoff against Cameroon. Cape Verde qualified on aggregate, a national watershed. He returned home to win the Cape Verdean Championship with Mindelense in 2015, then went to Moldova's Zimbru Chisinau, to Portugal's Gil Vicente, where he saved 5 penalties in 32 league matches, to Cyprus with AEL Limassol, winning the Cypriot Cup in 2019, to Slovakia's AS Trenčín, and back to Portugal with Chaves in 2024. Across clubs in 6 countries, he amassed roughly 280 competitive appearances.
So moving on to the international arc. He's been a full international since 2012, with 5 major tournaments: AFCON in 2013, 2015, 2021, 2023, and then the 2026 World Cup. He is the second most capped player in Cape Verde's history, with about 94 caps by 2026, and 0 goals, which is very normal and probably desirable for a goalkeeper, mostly.
In 2026, the hinge turned. In Cape Verde's first ever World Cup match, he kept a clean sheet against Spain with 7 saves and was named Player of the Match. At 40 years old, he became the oldest player to feature in a nation's first World Cup match, surpassing a mark set the previous day by Curaçao's Eloy Room. He then kept another clean sheet against Saudi Arabia to help Cape Verde advance, and in the round of 32 he made 8 saves in a narrow extra-time loss to the defending champions, Argentina. He thus joined historical company as the third oldest goalkeeper with a World Cup clean sheet, after Peter Shilton and Dino Zoff. The numbers are not trivia. They are signals of tactical maturity and composure under maximal pressure.
Isn't it interesting how his name also travelled? His parents wanted Valdano, but authority said no, so he became Josimar, after Brazil's 1986 fullback. Then his grandparents' nickname, Vozinha, stuck, and he used it professionally, especially after moving to Angola, when another goalkeeper was already called Josimar. It's like identity shaped by both rules and locker room pragmatism.
Speaking of maturity, goalkeepers, unlike most outfield players, often peak later because the job is anticipatory. It rewards pattern recognition built over thousands of frames of play. As in chess, where endgames reveal who truly understands the board, tournament endgames reward the keeper who understands flight paths, trajectories, and human nerves. Vozinha's late career peak exemplifies this principle. This logically leads us to 3 organizing questions. First, historically, what was his role in Cape Verde's 2013 AFCON breakthrough? Second, counterfactually, what if the 2026 clean sheet against Spain had not occurred? And third, prospectively, what is the future of Cape Verdean football on the global stage? Big question 1. Historical significance. In September and October 2012, Cape Verde met Cameroon in a playoff to reach the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations. Debuting then, Vozinha entered not as a celebrity, but as a competent, communicative goalkeeper in a compact defensive unit. Cape Verde won 2-0 at home, lost 2-1 away, and advanced on aggregate. That qualification did 2 things. It normalized ambition for a small federation and established a defensive identity with a reliable goalkeeper at its spine. At the AFCON finals in 2013, Cape Verde reached the quarterfinals, losing to Ghana. Even the episode where Vozinha went forward late for a set piece, conceding on the counter, is instructive. It shows a willingness to trade risk for chance creation in knockout time. From that tournament onward, Cape Verde was an opponent with structure, not a ceremonial fixture.
I'm curious about the AFCON piece. For Cape Verde specifically, why is AFCON so pivotal? Is it exposure, or is there something more systemic that it changes?
AFCON is Africa's primary stage. It concentrates media, scouting attention, and competitive lessons into a short window. For a nation like Cape Verde, it is a gateway to international friendlies of higher caliber, to players securing stronger club contracts, and to federation credibility when lobbying for resources. In this context, a goalkeeper who enables progression to the knockout phase alters the expected utility of every subsequent fixture. We can infer that 2013 taught Cape Verde how to manage space and stress together. At the center of that learning stood a calm goalkeeper, who would, over the next decade, become the team's second most capped player. Big question 2, counterfactual scenario. Suppose Cape Verde had not kept a clean sheet in its first ever World Cup match against Spain in 2026. Realistically, a loss in that opener would have reduced expected advancement probabilities. The draw yielded an unexpected point and, more subtly, a psychological dividend: belief. Tactically, Spain took shots and Vozinha converted danger into narrative. Without that nullification, Cape Verde's margin for error against Saudi Arabia would have narrowed. A clean sheet there still helps, but sequencing matters. The early draw changed opponent behavior and domestic mood. And without the player of the match moment, the viral arc, 17 million new followers and Lusophone amplification would have been markedly smaller. Fame is not linear, it is threshold-based.
Can we say that if the Spain match had gone differently, the team might still have fought well, but the world wouldn't have been watching as closely? Maybe the same level of brand new attention just doesn't materialize.
That is to say, yes, the counterfactual likely yields less global attention, diminished negotiating power for future friendlies, and fewer tangible downstream effects on youth enthusiasm. The same defensive structure would exist, but the message signal would be weaker. The clean sheet served as a proof of concept against a top-ranked side, and in football, proofs that occur on television in June travel farther than whiteboard claims in October. Big question 3. Present-day open question. What is Cape Verde's trajectory now? We observe a foundation, multiple AFCONs, a World Cup knockout appearance, and a leadership model exemplified by a veteran goalkeeper whose craft aged well. The near-term determinants are familiar: youth development with better goalkeeper coaching, diaspora scouting streams that integrate players early, and continued tactical discipline that keeps shot quality low. There is also the soft power dimension. Social media reach, if stewarded responsibly, can be converted into partnerships for training infrastructure and analytics support.
What comes to mind next is the practical question. If I may suggest a focus area, where can Cape Verde improve with realistic resources? Like the one lever with the highest return on effort.
One specific area for further research and action: a goalkeeper development pathway that standardizes decision-making under pressure. Not merely reflex drills, but scenario libraries, set-piece rehearsals, cross-claim timing, penalty heuristics informed by opponent tendencies. Cape Verde already has an empirical case study in Vozinha's 2016-17 penalty record at Gil Vicente and his 2026 tournament composure, which point to teachable micro-skills. Creating a modest national curriculum, possibly in partnership with Lusophone clubs, would be comparatively low cost and high yield, and it would preserve and transmit the legacy in a form useful to the next cohort.
Maybe it's just me, but I also like the human through line. Family in Cape Verde and Brazil, a younger brother, Delmiro, also in football, and another brother, Claydir, teaching mathematics. It feels like a quiet reminder that sports and education are not rivals. They are parallel ways to move through the world with discipline.
To summarize, we defined the role and the terms: goalkeeper, clean sheet, cap. We established why this matters for a small nation's global visibility. We traced the arc, Mindelo to 6 countries of club football, from debuting in a 2012 qualifier against Cameroon to 2 World Cup clean sheets in 2026, a player of the match against Spain, and an 8-save resistance against Argentina. We posed 3 questions: the historical hinge of 2013, the counterfactual of the Spain match, and the open pathway for Cape Verde's future, in which youth development, especially for goalkeepers, is a rational priority. A related topic for another day is how social media transforms athlete profiles at speed and how federations can manage that energy without being managed by it. In conclusion, keep exploring the fascinating world of sports history.
Thank you, Professor.